bill signed into law assented, and we had the president give about 11 billion USD.
But the economic challenges have largely contributed to a lot of other factors.
Gen Z movement was a spirit. It was a movement that anybody, regardless of age, was really relating with.
My hope and aspiration for all Kenyans is that they will get to have a relationship with God. This country needs God more than ever.
It is exactly at the top of the hour. Welcome to our broadcast on this, the 28th of December, 2024. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Byron Abuli. And we start off in Embu County, where a war of words erupted last evening over social media use, pitting head of creative economy Dennis Itumbi against Manyata MP Gitonga Mukunji. The duo locked horns over the platform regulation and ongoing abduction during a movie premiere in Embu County. Their disagreement came just hours after Embu residents barricaded roads and lit bonfires demanding the release of a 24-year-old Billy Mwangi who was allegedly abducted on Saturday, sparking the protest. It was at the Birthday Girl movie premiere in Embu County that the two leaders publicly differed over the usage of social media and the abduction crisis. Manyata MP Gitonga Mukunji criticized the government's handling of young people using social media platforms to express themselves, which he claimed was the reason behind the abductions.
We have given police 24 hours to produce Billy Mwangi, save and count. Because when one of us is armed, the rest of the people are also armed.
While on the other hand, the head of creative economy, Dennis Itumbi, accused the MP of protesting against the government he is part of.
This is your government. You're elected under the ticket of this government. Don't demonstrate against that. Lead us. Lead all of us, and we will come behind you to go and visit the family, to go and support them, to go and sing with them, to go and worship with them. So that then to say to government, you must do your bit of investigation. But ultimatums do not necessarily produce the results.
This came against the backdrop of protest in Embu County, where residents demanded answers about the disappearance of a 24-year-old Billy Mwangi, allegedly abducted from a barber shop. Meanwhile, Kitui women's representative Dr. Irene Kasalu slammed the government over the rising abductions. Speaking in Mwingi, Dr. Kasalu demanded the immediate release of Bernard Kavuli, a young man from Mumoni in Mwingi North, was reportedly abducted.
As people of Kitui County, we want to give an ultimatum that we want our son within the next 24 hours. Sure. Sound and safe.
This comes as President William Ruto has pledged to put a stop to abduction cases.
Na yale yamesemekana mambo ya abduction tutakomesha. Ndio vijana wa Kenya waweze kuishi kwa amani na vile wawe na nidhamu na wawe wangwana, tuweze kujenga Kenya tukiwa pamoja. Tumekubaliana?
Nimemwambia huyu Ruto ni mambo ya vijana kushika hovyo, kupiga pingo, kuleta mahali kutajwa ikome kabisa.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has warned Kenyans against violating the Cyber Crimes Act.
We will not harm people because they hate us. No, we do not. There is no policy for harming people for hating you. We will, those who commit crimes like the violating the Cyber Crimes Act, we will make sure that they are brought before the courts of law. And there are so many. We are arresting all kinds of criminals in Kenya.
We have seen people alleging that they have been abducted, kidnapped, then they show up, all out of political expediency. If anybody alleges that they have been kidnapped, abducted, and they are not, they should also be arrested and charged for misuse of their computers and cyber crimes.
So wale watu ambaye wanasema potea kama wako wapelekwe kotini kulingana na hii sheria tulipitisha bunge ya Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act.
As of December 26th, human rights groups reported 7 abduction cases in December alone.
We have a record of more than 93 Kenyans who have been abducted since June 2024. In December alone, we have documented 13 abductions, with the most recent one being yesterday evening.
Of Inspector General of Police, who is claiming that it is not the policemen or his officers who are involved in abductions. Then the question is, who is abducting Kenyans?
Brother yetu ako wapi? Kalani Mwema ako wapi? Please, achiliwe.
And in other news, a section of Migori County leaders now say President William Ruto can effectively govern without the need for opposition, adding that the country is on the right trajectory. Led by former Nyatike Member of Parliament and current chair of the Nuclear Authority, Eddie Kanyaga, the leaders stated that the recent merger between the government and the opposition has helped reduce tensions, ending the unnecessary discord that was previously destabilizing the nation.
Opposition is just to say things that they don't even know. You get the point? Because you cannot just say no, even when it is yes. If you ask me as Mheshimiwa Anyanga, I will tell you, people can even do without opposition. Because you cannot, they are even, criticizing that is something that's going to help the community. That's something that's going to help the people of Kenya. To me, I think if there's a way Kenya can run without opposition, so be it.
Kati ODM iliingia, watu yao walipewa kasi. Kuna wengine walikuwa napiga kelele, ODM wameingia kwa serikali, sasa ODM wamewacha upinzani, sijui wamefanya nini. Saa hii wengine wamekuja, sioni kama watu wanapiga kelele. Sasa hao wanataka tu ODM ndio ipige kelele hapa tao. Ama watu ODM ndio upinzani. Sisi pia tunataka stima. Tunataka barabara.
And away from the political fields to the coast, where a section of residents in Utange Kisauni constituency, Mombasa County, are living in fear of eviction in a raging dispute over a 3-acre plot. The residents say on the 9th of December, they received a demolition notice from someone purporting to be their landlord, despite the land being owned by the government. The group now wants the said landlord to cease, even as they urge the government to hand them possession of the land.
Tumepewa 15 days from tarehe 9 mpaka 15 days ikisha tu tumevunja hizi nyumba zetu, ama sivyo akija kutuvunjia itabidi sisi tulipe gharama za kuvunjiwa mpaka nyumba zetu.
Sasa kama huyu bwana anayesumbua katika hili shamba ana hakika hii shamba ni lake kihalali, basi apeleke yale makaratasi kwenye vyombo vya sheria. Yakiwa ikichunguzwa ni ya uhalali, serikali ishachukua ahadi hili jambo la uskwata hapa pwani litaka kumalizwa, kwa ajili matajiri watalipo pesa na serikali, wale wananchi waliojenga ile sehemu waachwe wakae kwa amani.
Still at the coast, hundreds of youth in Kilifi County have formed groups to position themselves for job opportunities as investors show confidence in investing in the county. This is after the county early this month hosted a 3-day Kilifi International Investment Conference Center at the Vipingo Ridge, where investors signed a memoranda of understanding to invest in the area. President William Ruto, while attending the conference, revealed that the construction of a 2,000-acre Vipingo free trade zone was expected to start in 2025, which will create close to 50,000 jobs in the next decade. Governor Mungaro has since formed a team consisting of his deputy Flora Chibule as chairperson, senior county staff and the private sector to ensure easy documentation and registration of investors as the county focuses on development and job creation.
Ambako pia wawekezaji wanapata frustrations ama wanapata kuzungushwa sana ni wakati wa mtu anataka kujenga mtambo alafu anazungushwa mwaka mzima hajapata vibali vya kujenga. Kwa hivyo ndio maana nimeweka hapo watu environment ili waangalie mambo ya mazingira, nimeweka physical planner, nimeweka watu wa lands, nimeweka watu wa trade. Kama kuna delays to fast track, ndio wawekezaji waweke pesa katika kaunti yetu.
Tufikirie wananchi, tuwape kipaumbele, tuweze kuangalia ni njia gani vijana wetu watapata ajira. Wakipata ajira itapunguza mambo ya uhalifu.
And now listen to this story. In Rachuonyo North Ward in Homa Bay County, history and faith intersect uniquely at the America SDA Church. Yes, you have heard it right. America SDA Church, built on a land of the late Kenyan freedom fighter Daniel Ojijo Oteko, this church stands as a beacon of legacy and spirituality. Edward Kabasa takes us to this historical site, uncovering the story behind its name and significance.
Nestled in the heart of Kanjira, Rachuonyo North Ward in Homa Bay County, America SDA Church is more than a place of worship. It is a symbol of heritage and a tribute to one of Kenya's unsung heroes, Daniel Ojijo Oteko, whose dreams of greatness inspired its unique name.
Ilianza mwaka 1975. Hiyo ndio tulianza hii Sabbath School. Na kutoka Nyamila ndio tukaanza hii kanisa letu la Amerika in 1975. From there imeendelea mpaka wakati huu, na hii jina la Amerika ilikuwa homestead ya mzee Ojijo Oteko ambayo alikuwa freedom fighter.
Ernest Aseto is the longest serving elder. He has worked this compound for 8 decades.
Ukija kila mahali ukisema naenda America area, wanajua tu unakuja hii area ambayo ni boma la Ojijo Oteko ambayo alifariki.
This church, located on land once owned by Daniel Ojijo Oteko, carries a name as bold as the values he championed: America.
The old place is the graveyard of the late Daniel Ojijo Oteko.
Kanjira location senior chief Eli Ojijo Obuya is the step-grandson of the late freedom fighter. He says his grandfather loved education, his country, and his community.
Many have been named after him, many. And as you all know, you know Ojijo Oteko Road in Nairobi, you know Ojijo Oteko Road in Kisumu. Also here we have also Ojijo Oteko Ring Road.
Oteko, a trailblazer in Kenya's fight for independence, dreamed of a nation built on justice, equality, and opportunity. He is credited for being one of the founders of African-led civil rights movements on the continent.
They started Young Kavirondo Tax Association. This was to agitate for the proper use of the taxes. They wanted to know how these taxes were helping the community.
This community believes that a lot more can be done to elevate the name of the late freedom fighter.
Alikuwa akipendwa na watu wote, wazee, watoto, hata katika hiyo boma lake. Mimi sikumuona na macho, lakini inasemekana ilikuwa inajaa kila wakati na watu.
I would appeal to our government that the family or the community be considered for just a favor of a mausoleum. And in that mausoleum, would be able to have a library to help all, not only the people of Karachuonyo, the people of Kanjira, but also the people of Kenya to know about the freedom fighters.
Today, America SDA Church embodies those values, serving as a hub for spiritual growth and community unity. As the congregation gathers here every Sabbath, they not only celebrate their faith, but also honor a legacy of courage, order, and the dream of a better tomorrow. For Lunchtime News, I am Edward Kabasa.
It is 14 minutes past the hour. We need to take our first commercial break, but don't go too far. On the other side of the break, we'll be telling you some of the assignment President William Ruto has just made to the current cabinet, so don't go too far.
Karibu mtazamaji kwenye kipindi Sanaa. Ni kipindi maridadi taifa letu la Kenya.
Nairobi Kusini, hapa katika kaunti ya Nairobi, siku ambapo tumeandaa kusikiliza kutoka kwao. Je, wana jipya lipi tena?
Sasa sina wasiwasi, usalama umetujia. Sasa mambo ni mawaa.
Tunayatunza mazingira. Je, kuna ukweli katika hilo?
Kupitia kwa upandaji wa miti, unapata kuwa tukipanda miti mingi,
serikali yenyewe imetoa watu na vijana ambao wanasimamia katika kazi hiyo.
Mfano ni shule yetu, tumepanda miti, lakini hawa watu wako wapi? Hawajakuja kuangalia hizo miti. Hawa vijana wako wapi wenye kuangalia hizo miti?
Mjuzi alichochewa kuchukua mchuzi wa mchukuzi.
Mjuzi alichochewa kuchukua mchuzi wa mchukuzi.
And this holiday, I want to ask each one of you to remember to wash their hands. Remember to handle your food with the highest hygiene levels. And remember to register to the Social Health Authority. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous Happy New Year of screening, diagnostics, and ensuring that we take care of our health.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now to some developing story. This afternoon, President William Ruto has made further changes in the cabinet arising from a cabinet reshuffle earlier this month in which fresh faces were introduced. The president has reassigned cabinet secretaries Musalia Mudavadi, Aden Duale and Salim Vuria into the ministries of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, Agriculture and Livestock Development and Investment, Trade and Industries. The three will serve in the ministries in an acting capacity as the country awaits the vetting and approval of new nominees set for January by Parliament. A developing story that, of course, will keep you abreast in our subsequent bulletins. Now, 2024 was politically charged, to say the least. It was not an election year, but a new deputy president was elected. 2024 was also the year that Kenyans were told to avoid talking about airports if they have not visited one yet. Here is Doreen Arange with some of the light moments of 2024.
Political eruptions that gripped the country. Impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. At the Bomas of Kenya, the epicenter of the public participation exercise provided the disgruntled public opportunity to audit their government. an exercise meant to put Rigathi Gachagua under scrutiny, blowing back on the faces of lawmakers present. An aggrieved public concerned about the country's economic downturn and punitive taxes, lumping both the opposition and members of government together, giving a harsh scorecard.
The mega elephant in the room is the new funding model. We have the following demands. We want to tell our government that when it comes to interest rates, we demand that they be reduced.
Hapa nimekuja kuprotest reject finance bill inatukandamiza sana.
In defending the members of opposition he appointed in his government,
ndio nimesema wacha nitengeneze serikali kubwa. Ndio kila mtu akuja hapa ndio tuulizane maswali. Hii madeni tulipe pamoja.
President Ruto being keen to allay fears on his sudden embrace of the opposition despite his earlier hard stance.
Akuja akuwe Zakayo hapa ndio kila mtu sasa tulipe hii madeni. Ama mnasema namna gani? Kwa sababu wale wananiita Zakayo wanafikiri hii pesa inakusanywa ya ushuru inaingia kwa akaunti yangu. Mimi sina account ni ya Wakenya.
Moments of levity when world leaders at the United Nations Environmental Assembly were assured of a lifetime experience of watching lions swim in Lamu County.
And if you have a bit more time, please travel to Lamu. And you will have an opportunity to watch the swimming lions there.
And the gloves are off. President Ruto giving no room to his adversaries. For those who strongly oppose the government's project, one word for you.
Hii pepo chafu. Nafikiri hata imefika wanapinga hata matoleo kanisani. Jameni. What is this? Surely.
As they say, politics has no permanent friends or enemies, just interests. His former critics now turned his fierce defenders.
Siasa ni yake. Mukisema, tutasema. Mukitukujia, tutawakujia. Mukileta, tutaleta. Si namna hiyo?
Na mdomo ni yangu. Siasa ni yangu. Wakati tuliingia wamama vile wanavaa, waliambia wamama walisema my dress, my choice. Mimi pia nasema my politics, my choice.
While this was going on, the raging floods in Nyando, Kisumu County left residents with this to say.
Mfuriko ya mvua najaa masini yote, michele imeenda na mafuriko.
Maji ilianzia saa 9 usiku. Sasa mimi niligunduka kuku ile kula inalia. Sasa ndio nilikumbuka maji inakuja.
Doreen Arange, 2024 in review.
Now, welcome finally to the world of sports. Now, holders Blue have progressed to the semi-final of the S.A. Akida Foundation football tournament after beating Jupiter Youth 3-1 on post-match penalties in a tough quarter-final duel played at the Mkoroshoni, Kilifi County. Ubuntu, Mekoan and Young Atomic are the other semi-finalists.
Blue secured a semi-final spot in the S.A. Akida Foundation tournament, having scored their kicks through Captain Motrin Kikai, Omari Chepe and Nasib Kahindi to make the semis, where they will take on Ubuntu. Ubuntu met the semis on penalties also after defeating Mnarani Youth 7-6 following a 0-0 draw in normal time.
Najua kwanza tumeingia ndani pale ni kama vijana waka-underrate opponents, ndio naona ikakuwa ngumu kidogo. Lakini najua next game tutaiset na itakuwa fit.
In the other semi, Mekoan, who thrashed Kilifi United 3-0, will take on Young Atomic, who also had to rely on penalties to see off Kilifi All-Stars 3-1 after a 1-1 draw in regulation time. In the ladies category, Kilifi Elite will take on Kilifi Ladies, while 11 Commandos, who finished second in their pool, will take on Majajani Queens, who topped their group having won all their matches. The men's category attracted 8 teams and went straight to quarters, while the ladies category attracted 5 teams, which were split into 2 groups.
Tukiingia finals, hiyo nayo pia
I think so kuna possibility kubwa sana kwa sababu game yenyewe wenye tumecheza nao it's like wachezaji kiasi tu wametense ndio maana tukawa hivi but tukawa position 2 but yani ukiangalia tu hivi tuna manage kuingia finals.
Growing up nimecheza bila tournament. Grow up tu naweza cheza mpira lakini I've never participated in tournaments, in leagues, but I still manage. But again, I know how important that is to have such activities because this is where we nurture and mold the young talents to get to reach and play in the better levels.
Meanwhile, Endereti Man City defeated Endereti Barcelona 1-0 in a friendly match at the Endereti Secondary School to celebrate Interior PS Raymond Omolo's birthday and display some of the available talents from Bokimoge Ward.
The reason as to why we want to invest in nurture talent is to ensure that young persons spend their time constructively. They do not spend their time in issues of drug and substance abuse, and that is why we want them to actually find time to play football among other games so that their time is well spent.
Leo tumeleta jezi, tumeleta mpira, tumeleta vitu mingi ili vijana wawe kitu kimoja na wawe engaged. Na talent pia, we are also tunaangalia pia talent. Vijana ndio watasaidia Kenya kucheza kwa Africa Cup of Nations in 2027.
Michael Otieno, a sports officer in the Interior Ministry who represented the PS, stressed on the urgent need to engage the youth in sports for their own benefit, clarifying that Omolo was concerned with sports development as opposed to donations of items.
And now to Europe, where Bukayo Saka will be sidelined until at least March following surgery on his hamstring. In his absence, Arsenal moved back to second position in the Premier League table with a 1-0 victory over Ipswich at the Emirates Stadium last night. That was their first fixture without Saka, who tore his right hamstring in a 5-1 win against Crystal Palace last weekend.
Timber, now chance to be direct. Jurian Timber! Did well there, okay. Rice's delivery, it's a deeper one! Oh, it looked... Goes one way. Good running by Martin Odegaard. And still! Very... The lower one, Declan Rice! Oh, blocked! Caught it beautifully.
Let's get forward at every possible opportunity, and João Pedro might have a chance to do that, and Ciso! It is being checked by the VAR assistant. The Amex celebrates, it's a let-off for Brighton and Hove Albion. Swung into the penalty area, Van Hecker's there again, Norgard, it's spectacular.
Those matches concluded game week 18 of the English Premier League. Of course, as we await for game week 19, Arsenal now second in the log, awaiting to see what will happen to Liverpool. All we can do is just sit back, relax, and let them fail. And of course, that concludes our bulletin. My name is Abdiaziz. The sign language interpreter at the bottom of the screen is Baron Abuli. Good afternoon for now.
The most hardworking man in Eastern Central of Africa.
Hey, wasimamizi mipango ya kando
Only Chap can come up with something like that.
Honestly, Gladys, that's a new one.
It is not that simple, sir. My classmates are...
Forget about your classmates and their petty minds. Focus, guy. You know, focus on the things you've come here to do.
You know, eating is everywhere, even in prison. In fact, guys, you can go and ask us.
Raha jipe mwenyewe.
Agneta, just akahinti tu kalaha jipe mwenyewe.
Backfire, mtoto wenyewe ataaga. Unaweza weka siri kweli, nikufungulia hii kichwa uone zile siri ziko ndani, na hata bado hujafika kwa moyo. Zile nimeweka za kuenda kwa kaburi nazo.
Alex hapo sawa?
Wewe unataka Alex aanze kuni blackmail? Uko poa? Niko fiti.
Kwa interest. Hapa si kwangu, ni kwa wazazi wangu.
Toka. Wewe shughulika na mambo yako.
Unadhani kwa nini Alim?
Siko involved kwa hiyo crime at all.
Who is?
Your dad.
Jambo mtazamaji mahali popote ulipo mchana wa leo, haya ni makala mengine ya kufunga mwaka wa 2024, makala ya dunia wiki hii.
Tunakupatia taarifa na matukio yote yaliyotendeka mwaka 2024 kwa ushirikiano mkubwa sana wa shirika la utangazaji nchini KBC na shirika la Xinhua kutoka China.
Na bila shaka mtazamaji, tumekuandalia mengi yaliyotukia mwaka 2024 ikiwemo taarifa kuhusiana na Wakristo ambao walisherehekea sikukuu ya Krismasi inayoadhimisha kuzaliwa kwa Yesu Kristo.
Hali kadhalika tutakujuza jinsi gani mataifa mbalimbali kote duniani ziliandaa chaguzi nyingine kubadilisha uongozi na baadhi pia kudumisha uongozi.
Kando na hayo, ajali na mikasa mbalimbali ilitokea katika sehemu tofauti ulimwenguni ikiwemo ajali za ndege na vile mashambulizi.
Na mzozo kati ya Israel na Hamas waendelea kusababisha uharibifu na maafa makubwa katika ukanda wa Gaza.
Mtazamaji, hizo tu ni baadhi ya taarifa ambazo tumekuandalia mchana wa leo, taarifa ambazo zinaangazia matukio ya mwaka 2024 hapa katika makala haya ya dunia wiki hii. Karibu sasa kwenye makala ya dunia wiki hii, makala yanayofunga mwaka wa 2024. Mimi naitwa Beatrice Gatonyengeti.
Bila shaka karibu tena.